Well, it's time to say goodbye to the Kikuyu. As mentioned in last week's video, we are removing this Kikuyu. You're going to irrigate this area and start off with some couch grass. Now, I've had a few guys be a little bit upset about the Kikuyu moving. Now, we are going to have Kikuyu at my brother's house. So we're still going to have Kikuyu projects, which I think will be more interesting than just maintaining a Kikuyu lawn that is already completely filled in, like we have here. So this lawn's filled in and it's just basically been maintained. So I thought it'd be more interesting doing an actual project, ripping it out, seeding. I've never done a seeding project in the springtime and I get so many emails about it in the spring, so I thought it's probably time to actually do a video series on that. So first off, we need to spray it out. So there's a couple of things you need to do when you are replacing your lawn like we have here. So this is filled in, but if you're thinking of going from like kike to couch, maybe buffalo to couch, maybe going from couch to buffalo, don't do that. There's a few things you need to do to make sure you completely clear out the existing lawn that you have. So when it comes to grasses like couch, Kikuyu, buffalo, and even zoysia, they can stick around if you don't completely get rid of them. So the first step we're going to do is to get some glyphosate and we're going to spray this grass out that's here. So we're actually going to do it with about 2 to 3 applications just to make sure we really kill it. I've seen Kikuyu in the past be sprayed with Roundup or glyphosate 2 to 3 times and has still come back, believe it or not. Now, the glyphosate's not going to actively be taken up in winter greatly, so we're going to apply it now, apply again in a couple of weeks, and then a couple of weeks after that, we'll apply it again. So once we come and dig the Kikuyu out too, we're going to make sure we dig at least 100 mil of depth out of there, so that we've got 100 mil of basically topsoil or whatever you choose to put down for the grass to actually put its roots down into. So this is what you try to do with every process when you're putting out seed. If you can go 100 mil deep, it's awesome just because you get really good establishment. Same when you're doing turf too, you want to have 100 mil of top dress or topsoil there, sorry. I've got the golf course in the background here that we've built. Now we want to run some irrigation off the existing pipe that we've got there. So we've got a mainline trench that runs down through here. You can see there's an irrigation box just there which actually feeds out onto the Tiff Tuff fairway. So we're going to get a tapping saddle, tap off there, run some wires from the controller box, which is up at the shed there, and tee out past this way up towards the Kikuyu. So I'm just going to go down to the local irrigation shop and get some bits and pieces. We've made up a little bit of a design already. Gonna run all poly with that, so I'll show you the whole process, how we install that, but it's not exactly from start to finish on the irrigation because we've sort of already got half the setup done. So when we go to Taylor's house in the next little bit, I'm gonna show you guys a full irrigation setup from start to finish, how to install it onto your home tap, everything you need to do, but there'll still be lots of tips in this coming bit too. So Taylor boy is here. Yo, he's on the job. So we're just legit gonna use some good old Roundup. Now, when putting something out like a herbicide, it's always good to put down a surfactant with it too. So something that's gonna help the herbicide stick to the plant and give it a little bit of a better kill. So we're just gonna use some of our pure wetter here, just use a cap full of it. Super simple, just to help it get a slightly better kill and stick to the leaf properly. Now, this time of year, it does take longer for herbicides to act just because the lawn's not actively growing. So we'll see. We might not see any death on it. It's a bit intense, eh? Any death until probably 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to really start to see some yellowing off. Gloves on, eh? I'm going to put the PPP on. PP? The PP on? PP. The PP. PPE. What does it stand for, Ben? PPE stands for Personal Protective Equipment. Is that what I said? Yes. I knew you were right. I don't know why you had to Google it. Was that dog poopy? Nothing new. You're obsessed with crap, man. Now when spraying glyphosate or any other herbicide for that, make sure you get at least 4 hours before it rains, if you can, 24 hours. I know it looks like it's going to rain in the background here, but we're not supposed to get rain till Thursday. Today's Monday, so fingers crossed we don't get rain, otherwise we'll be reapplying it again. Something I haven't talked about for a while on the channel is, but when you're spraying herbicides, fertilizers, anything, make sure your nozzle is always at knee height. Like, you gotta make sure you walk over every single area consistently. So you see how Taylor's just walking at normal pace. He's not going really, really slow. He's not like double passing over any areas and spraying like it's a little, like he's hosing something off in the garden. He's just consistently walking over the area so he gets a nice consistent spray. Sometimes people think if you put more out, you're gonna get more of a kill. That is not the way it works. The more you put out, the more the weed is actually likely to become resistant to the herbicide that you're spraying. That's why there's application rates, and it's good to follow them. Well, that's the process of doing that. Pretty simple and straightforward. Let me know if you guys have any questions about it, or any of the questions about some of the prep work too, but we will be filming that over the coming weeks. You'll see lots of videos with that. But next, we're on to irrigation. So today we're starting to dig trenches. So this is going to be a little bit different from a home lawn situation. So if you haven't seen my series at my brother's house, Josh, where we did a full install, I'll link it down in the description below, but we are going to do a full series soon at my brother's house, Taylor, and we'll show you how to build the manifold off a tap, everything, make it automatic. We'll do that probably in September, possibly August, just depends on time frame. But today, it's all the same concept, it's just how we're setting up, where it runs from is a little bit different, because I've already got main lines running everywhere. Here's my pump shed just here, we've got a pump just down here. These tanks here are filled up by the bore, which is down in the bottom paddock, goes into the pump and spits out on a main line onto the golf course. So we've got our automatic irrigation here. We're gonna have to run some more wires up to this to make this new section automatic. But our main line's here, which is 63 mil, runs out down underground here and runs out. Now I've already got one irrigation box currently, which we've tapped into. But the plan is today is to dig out and find our main line down here, which actually that's the main line just there, to be honest, where the fairways work. So that's where the fairway runs out from. Should have really put those two in a separate box, that was a stupid idea. So we're gonna dig it up here, do a T-piece off there, run some pipe all the way up to the Kikuyu, which is up the end here. So I've already got existing water running everywhere. Now, if you're doing this at home, you could run it off the tap, run a T-piece underneath where your tap is, run it down, run into a manifold, and make it work basically like that. Super simple, same concept. This is just at a larger scale because we're watering the golf green, so we've got bigger main lines running, but exactly the same concept. So we'll put down our solenoid valve just here, come out and just run out our sprinklers through here. So we're gonna have to actually dig under the path here today too, so this is gonna be a journey. But yeah, we have paid for this all with our own money, so we're gonna go with some Hunter heads because they're the ones that will reach the furthest and which will relate to homeowners the most too. We could have got some Rainbird RVNs, but I couldn't find sprinklers that were big enough to make this super simple. So only putting 10 sprinklers out, 6 on this side and then 4 on the far side. We'll run a main line through the middle and tee off to each sprinkler across the area. So we're going some MP 3000s and one MP 3500, so the rotators. So today we're using the old geo trencher. This will be good fun. Instead of using the trencher on the skiddy, this will make it less of a mess. And this is actually the perfect size to get our 25 mil poly down into the ground. So should make it a lot easier to clean up after the fact. Let us dig. Well, just like when I was doing the irrigation for the fairway and stuff, there is rock everywhere, so we're going to get the skid steer and use that, and then use the geo trencher on the actual Kikuyu at the front, because at least there isn't as much rock there anyway. It's a pan in the annals. That was just a bit quicker. Oh, so much better. We may or may not have hit a bit of poo-poo pipe dirt. Got this all fixed up yesterday afternoon. Always seems to happen. Anyway, let's keep digging. First I'm going to dig under the path. We're about to have some rain pop in, so see how far we get. I don't think I'm going to get this finished this week, so this will be split into 2 videos. We're going to dig underneath this path here to get the pipe under there, so I want to get that done now because that's probably the hardest part. So to make going under this path a little bit easier, I've got this auger here, which you can buy these at Bunnings, to go under the path. It's gonna be so much better. What do you reckon? A little extension. Extension bar on an extension bar on a drill bit. Mate, if it works, genius. Starting to pour rain now like crazy, so I'll probably pull up stumps for today. But it's good. I got all the way through. That was a little bit easier than I thought it would be. It was still hard, but auger on a drill, not a bad call.